All right. Episode 14 of this podcast. I still don't have a name for. So by episode 20, that's the goal. So if anybody has any idea of that you've been paying attention, what do you want to call this? Obviously, my mission is to share the blessings of friends, fellowship, and relationships, and explore peace, profit, and purpose. So without further ado, today's guest is none other than the infamous or famous. I don't know. Are you infamous or famous?
I think both.
Patrick Gomez. Hello, sir.
How you doing?
I am doing great. What's up?
I'm
Poppy.
loving life.
Poppy.
Loving life, Poppy.
How have you been?
I've been good. Been with Rocket now for over half the year.
You went straight into a Rocket commercial.
Oh my
You're excited
God.
about that.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Life's good.
Before we get into who you are professionally, like who is Patrick Gomez?
Patrick Gomez is born in Texas,
El Paso, raised in a California type home in Texas.
Okay. And my heart belongs to my old Kentucky home.
All right.
You know, my son was born in El Paso, but raised here in Kentucky. Mm-hmm. My daughter born here in Kentucky and here in Louisville. And I just love this area. I'll never leave Kentucky. I'll die here.
I hope you don't. Oh, well, not right here. Not right here, but in Kentucky.
Today.
Your daughter, London, is she named after London, Kentucky?
Nope, she's named after her great-grandfather.
Okay.
Landon was his middle name, and we let the family choose. It was a Christmas, and we couldn't come up with a name.
Okay.
So we gave people a box. It was put in whatever name you think. We got Frida. We got the craziest name, the old family name.
And your wife, Shauna, was okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
She was good.
Yep.
So Aunt Paula came up with London.
London. All right. So oddly enough, that's how we named our first dog. Same way. not to equate the two. London's a lot more intelligent than Bentley, but they're both good people. The good thing is both of them like me, so
yes,
that's a win.
Well, London loves you.
Yeah. So I spent an entire happy hour playing paper, rock, scissors with her in Detroit about 2 months ago. 2 months ago. Yeah, and she's an avid golfer as well.
Yes, she is.
So that's awesome. All right, so Patrick Gomez, you're a loan officer now. You weren't always a loan officer. You have a very interesting background in some of the things that you did in life. Tell us about that.
I do. I've held a lot of jobs, especially, as a young kid.
Yeah.
But at 20, I ended up coming to Kentucky, was a millionaire, and didn't work. Played golf, fished every day, took Dominic to daycare, just had a great life. And then all of a sudden, the world changed. 2 planes hit towers, and it changed the world forever. That money plummeted, and I had to get to work. Okay. So what do you do when you got to get to work? You think back, what skills have I had in life? I'll just go back to California. Right. I'll go to San Jose and get my old job back. And I packed up my house. I told my wife at the time, I'm like, hey, we're not going to have a vacation ever again. We're headed to the lake every day from now until we move. And she's like, why? I said, because we're never going to be able to afford a vacation living in San Francisco.
Right.
It's not happening. Right. She's like, I met this guy, invited them over to dinner because, I don't meet strangers.
Right.
And he saw my house all packed up and he's like, man, you guys are river rats. You guys like being out on the water. And I'm like, no, we're moving.
Right.
Well, he had told me about what he did on the water. He told me he was a coal miner and whatnot. Okay. And my idea of a coal miner was a guy that gets in a little cart with a lantern and a bird, a pickaxe maybe,
or
some dynamite, and goes underground, crawling around and digging up coal.
Right.
And when I told him what I was doing, moving back to California, he goes, do you want your kid raised in San Francisco? And I said, well, it's give and take. And he's like, why don't you come work with me? And I said, in the coal mines?
Yeah.
And I started laughing. And then I realized that's what this guy does for a living.
Yeah. You're laughing in the face of his, what brings him.
His profession.
Yeah, exactly.
What feeds his family, what's allowed him to be at the lake on his boat.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. I can't see myself being like a donkey boy underground. Right. I said, isn't that the first job? Well, his wife then starts cracking up because she now realizes I know nothing about coal mining.
Right.
And he paid for my classes. a 40-hour class you got to take in order to take a test to become a coal miner,
I would have never thought that.
right?
Yeah.
Like licensing, like ours.
Yeah.
And
It's almost more invasive than getting your real estate license.
it is. So you got to do this 40-hour class, pass this test,
Right.
be physically fit and crazy enough to go underground.
Crazy enough. Yeah. And mentally unstable enough to actually do this job. Okay.
Absolutely.
That's exactly like getting into real estate.
Yeah, football, they said it would always train me for life,
Yeah.
and it did, strong back, weak mind. So I went straight underground.
Right.
My first coal mine was in Galatia, Illinois. The top was anywhere from 10 feet to your light can't shine that high.
Really?
Yeah, and if a rock falls from that height, just imagine one of these lights
Yeah.
above us just falling and
That's going to do damage.
it's gonna do some damage,
Right.
My second mine, when we moved to Kentucky, after they laid us off there, or they told us they would eventually, and they did, and moved.
Now, do you get laid off because there's no more minerals there?
No, you get laid off because they don't want to pay you bonus for Christmas.
Ah, gotcha.
It's things like that. So there's coal mines.
It's kind of like Major League Baseball.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They
Gotcha.
keep you as long as they need you, and then they let you go.
Okay.
So that's what mining was like. I came to Kentucky, and that's where I spent most of my time. At 48-inch coal mine, though.
40. Geez, I feel like you're too tall for a coal mine.
Yeah, it was tough.
So you have a interesting award as a coal miner. What is that?
So in 2009, I joined the mine rescue team. And at first, it was just intriguing to see these guys in apparatus. The apparatus you put on is to go into zero atmosphere. And that means you can go in with zero oxygen and in really harsh environments, and you're still able to breathe for 2 to 4 hours, depending on how good a shape you're in.
Right.
And it interested me so much that I said, you know what? If smoke's ever coming out of this hole, I'm willing to go in
Right.
and get my brothers out,
Yeah.
whether it means my life or not. And I love those guys underground so much that that's what I was willing to do.
Right.
Competed and got really good by copying the best guys in it. And in 2011, I won the National Mine Rescue Championship for bench in the 240S or 240R competition. And what that is a certain apparatus. And I was the fastest, best in the nation that year at putting it together, fixing the problems.
That's
And
awesome.
And to be honest with you, I feel if I was still mining,
Yeah.
I'd still be the best.
That
I
was
loved
good.
it.
I don't think I know any other coal miners in my life. So you're the first one. And obviously our paths did not cross in a coal mine. I don't have the back to be a coal miner. So what are you doing now? And how did you and I get into a relationship?
So me and you, we met, funny enough, in my favorite place on the planet. It's a golf course.
Okay.
Desmond Flowers introduced us. Took us
Oh, that's
golfing
right.
together.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, Desmond took us to golf, and then like the week later,
Glen Oaks.
yeah, Glen Oaks.
Yep.
That's
They
right.
used to have the lunch, like $20, 9 holes and a beer.
And a beer.
Yeah.
Lunch and a beer. You couldn't beat that. That was a
Right.
great deal. Glen Oaks, bring it back. If you're listening, bring it back.
Bring it back. Come on, Glen Oaks.
Hook us
Hey,
up.
make sure we hashtag Glen Oaks on this one.
We would, a week later, you came to the office at Century Mortgage and we did a video a little like this.
Yeah, we did, didn't we? Yep.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And then
before podcasts were popular.
Yeah, then Rat put you on a deal that we ended up working together, and that's been about it. So you're a mortgage loan officer, loan originating officer. What NMLS, National Mortgage Loan, all that stuff. So your actual title now with Rocket Local is
Executive Loan Officer.
Executive Loan Officer. So Patrick is one of 3 loan officers in the state of Kentucky, correct? No, sorry, in Louisville.
In Louisville. And in the state of Kentucky, there's 5 of us. So
There's only 5 in all of Kentucky.
In all of Kentucky.
Okay, that's awesome. Little shout out, little shameless plug. Rocket, the largest lender in the nation, made a concerted effort about 3 years ago to get hyper local with assets to bring their expertise and their customer service. And let's be honest, the misconception or the perception of Rocket is it's a call center, right? It's
Absolutely.
Quicken Loan, it's Lending Tree. You're never gonna, they want to qualify and you move on, qualify and you move on, and that's something that they made an effort to overcome. Talk to us about that.
Well, whenever I got onto Rocket, they called. They were talking about they surveyed the people that didn't close with them and asked them, hey, why didn't you close with us? We had the better rate at the time. We had the better closing time. Well, they all said, you are not here. And that was the overwhelming answer they got, is that they weren't local.
Right.
And agents felt that on a Saturday when they got a call LO and they are not getting them because they're off.
Right.
Out in Michigan, Detroit, Cleveland, or Phoenix, they're not available, and that's okay because they work their week.
Right.
But us as LOs here locally, we know that we're 7 days a week.
Yep.
No matter what time it is. And that was the difference. It's amazing working for the biggest ship.
Right.
But the biggest call for the local lender was that itself, is us being local, being able to know that, hey, I can go to a 6106 Dutchman's Lane and see Patrick knock on the door. They don't got to go up to Detroit, Michigan to the Cube and find somebody.
I'll be honest with you, like early on in my career, when people would come with a pre-qualification from a national lender, I would always ask, say, like, hey, do you know your loan officer? Are you going to be able to get in touch with them? Let's run this through a local branch so we at least have somebody we can sit down in front of.
Absolutely. And that's the biggest key to making relationships and with your local realtors, is they recognize that name. All the time I get it to where we'll put in an offer, and luckily for me, I've done enough attending of events, that people know me, and they'll be like, hey, Patrick, I just got an offer with your name on it. Is so-and-so qualified for this?
Exactly.
And I'm like, absolutely.
Yep.
I'll get it closed in no time. And just, for example, last week on Sunday morning, I got a call, and agent, same thing. I'm like, how quick do you want to close? And she's like, as fast as you can. 7 days later, we had it clear to close.
Yeah, clear to close. So that's awesome.
It was awesome.
So from a local standpoint, so I'm thinking, if I'm a realtor and I'm here in Rocket Local, because I actually had this situation the other day. Again, I had to educate the consumer that yes, this is Rocket, but this is not Rocket Call Center. This is a physical asset on the ground. It's not the same thing that you may be thinking it is.
Absolutely. Every loan officer that I got hired with in December, that I was out in Detroit with, was from U.S. Bank, Countrywide, you name a bank, Fairway Mortgage, U.S. Bank, Chase. They were coming from everywhere. And luckily for me, I was able to talk to them outside of the office and be like, why did you come? Why are you coming? Why are you coming? And the overwhelming voice that I heard was, Rocket just keeps whooping us everywhere we're at, whether it's rate or speed or whatnot. We're just losing to Rocket all the time. And to have the chance to team up with the biggest name in the business is a no-brainer. Right. So that's been the biggest change for me, is being, it's just constant betterment of myself, measures that they do.
Do you think you made so this is we're not going to hear the answer to this for a long time, but I'm sitting here thinking, did you make the move ahead of the shift to a more global, more national, the constricting nature of our business, commission suppression, things like that? Do you think, did that play into your thought? Like, okay, if all these external things are going to come down, I need to hitch my wagon to the biggest brand?
Absolutely. I was done with the business.
Oh, I know.
When we saw each other, we saw each other, and you said, "What are you up to?" I said, "I'm selling bourbon," and you said, "No, you're not. You are not. You're a loan officer, and you belong in the loan world." Right. And I so appreciate that. You just getting me in contact with the right person, and yes, if it was not Rocket, I don't think there's another name that I would have gone to. I would have kept doing what I was doing because there wasn't that national brand. That's
Right.
the hardest part about being a loan officer. You know, no matter where we've been, unless that name has an impact, I can go to the mall right now, Oxmoor Mall,
Right.
and ask 100 people if they've ever heard of great names in the city, you know, great places to work. And they might not know, but if I say, have you ever heard of Rocket Mortgage? They'll just laugh.
Yeah.
And of course I have.
Right.
And that to me was the biggest selling point, along with everything else that comes along with this ship.
Well, and you kind of hit on a couple things. Like I am the biggest advocate for hyper local. Like you need local people or what make local economies work. And to have someone that is so invested in the local economy supported by someone that understands the global economy, I think is unbelievable. And I love the partnership. And you know, there's going to be a time and place for other lenders and different opportunities. But I like the move. I love what you're doing. I love Rocket's culturally. I think are you going this weekend to next weekend? Isms class.
Isms week. You gotta do Isms week.
What is Isms week?
Isms is the way that our business lives and dies, our culture. They're really big on our culture. You know, we eat our own dog food is one of them.
That's one of the isms. We eat our own dog food.
Yeah.
Explain that to the
It's
consumer.
just, you know, whatever we put out there, we consume ourselves. So it's not like we're feeding the client, the customer, something different than
Yeah.
we'd be giving ourselves.
Yeah, you're getting cube steak and I'm having filet mignon. What you're saying. I love that. I didn't. So was there 17 isms? Do you know all of them?
No, I do not know. I'm going to learn them next week.
I feel like we're is it the catechisms, in the Catholic faith? I think you have to learn like all these things.
All your prayers,
all your
the
prayers.
rosary.
All right. All right. So the big drive on this is peace, profit, and purpose. What do you want to start with?
Let's go with peace.
What brings Patrick Gomez peace? Stressful day, worst day ever. If you could do the exact opposite of that, that's where peace is. What would you do?
By myself with my push cart on the golf course.
I thought you were going to tell me in a coal mine.
No, absolutely not. No, just on a golf course by myself with my own thoughts. It's the best place. My favorite tee time is the first one in the morning.
Yep.
And by myself. I'll knock a round out in 2 hours and just decompress.
9 holes or 18?
18.
In 2 hours with a push cart? No.
No.
Okay.
in a golf cart.
Okay.
In a golf cart.
Yeah,
No
I was gonna
chance.
talk, yeah.
I am doing no speed golfing with Sam Stone.
I love the first tee time, but I like it like it's daybreak, like 6 a.m. in South Carolina somewhere. That's up there for me. All right. What about that? Why alone? Why on a golf course? What about that brings you peace?
Being out there just with nobody else's noise, you know, just my own.
It's just your own noise.
Just my own noise, because it's always up in those 6 inches, you know, in between those ears, and just listening to God, to nature. It's so beautiful, the things that you see out there on your own when, you know, you're just concentrating on your own game. You're not looking at anybody else's swing or where their ball's at, just yourself. And I'm competing against myself, and sometimes I think that is my biggest competition.
But I think it's a metaphor for anything. Like we are our biggest competition. Like everything rises and falls with how we lead ourselves. So if you can remove that opponent from your life, like get out of your own way, like success is, you know, ceilingless, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Profit or purpose?
Let's go purpose.
Why is Patrick Gomez on this earth?
You know, I think I'm here to help people. Whether it's real estate or somebody to talk to, or just help out with their golf game or advise. That is my purpose. I volunteer my time to Junior Achievement, in order to help our youth, because that is our future. So anytime I can give anybody any sort of help, if I could help them move, if I could help them with whatever I have, I'm willing to, because that was instilled in me by my grandma.
Right.
She helped everybody. So she still does. Even if she didn't have, she gave it away. We could have 2 eggs in the refrigerator and somebody come ask for eggs, they gone.
They're gone. So they're getting the 2 eggs.
They are.
Yeah.
So that's my purpose.
All right. So how do you measure profit? In profit, let's talk about a couple of things, is a metric for success, whether it's in business or personal life. What are the things that you put on a scoreboard every day and say, hey, I'm winning? Or not winning.
Okay. At one time, it was money. That was my driver. How many hours can I put in to this to make money, And for me now, it's time, because that you can't get back.
Right.
The time that I get to spend with my family, whether that's my extended family, my friends, my immediate family, that is my profit. The time that I'm able to put into this business at any time of the day allows me to make that recital or that school event or that soccer game or that basketball game or that golf match or whatever it may be. This job, this career has truly allowed me to profit in my life with time.
Yep. All right. So now I'm going to challenge you a little bit. I heard money. You said there was a pursuit of money and then there's a pursuit of time. I would challenge you and say the more money you make, the more time you're going to have. So I guess if you chase 2 rabbits, you only get 1. So I would put money over time, but that's my personal opinion. What do you think about that?
I have in the past. I put money over everything.
Yep.
And it's sent to backfire on me in the end. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was money over everything. The more hours I put into that mine, I knew that check would be bigger, that profit sharing, that bonus, whatever. And I didn't get to see my son grow up.
Right.
So that's where this time it's going to be different. It's going to be different. And like I said, the success comes in the way that you're able to maneuver your time in this business.
Yeah.
It's just not you're in a hole for 14 hours.
Right. Well, the funny thing is about this business and what we do and you do is, you hear people all the time like, I want to do what you do and have a flexible schedule. It's not that your schedule is flexible, but you get to decide where your time goes, where versus your employer, right? Your employer is going to say you got to be here at 9. You can't leave till 5. Being an entrepreneur, a independent contractor like you,
absolutely, we're a business owner.
Yeah, you're what is it? The result of your efforts shows up in your bank account. So.
Absolutely, sure does.
All right, what have we missed that we haven't repped on here?
I can't really think of anything other than what are we gonna do in the future? And
right. Are you asking me a question? I don't know what we're going to do. We're just going to keep working hard and see what happens.
I love it.
I'm a big, Jennifer hates this. I'm like, if you just keep doing the right thing, everything will take care of itself. And I am a believer in that, but, the sky's the limit. The magic is in the work that you're willing to do.
It is.
So, well, brother, I'm glad that we're partnered up on this. Having you here is great. You're helping my golf game exponentially. If you need, anything, bilingual, multilingual.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Speak Spanish, know a little bit of Portuguese.
Portuguese is Brazilian, right?
Yes. That's the only place really. That and Portugal.
Yeah, Portugal. Yeah, Brazil and Portugal. Although Team USA volleyball beat Brazil yesterday. Let's go.
Yes.
So, all right. Olympic season is about over. Patrick Gomez, Rocket Local, your local asset from the largest mortgage lender in the world, or just the United States?
In the nation, we'll say.
Definitely Detroit.
For
sure.
sure.
Gilbert owns all of Detroit. So
absolutely. We own all of it.
I appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you.
Talk soon. All right.
Yes, sir.